down that street into a place where, regardless of if someone was attacking him, he probably should have turned around as soon as he started seeing people, because there was no way he was going to get through that crowd. Unfortunately, this young woman died. And, regardless of what you think of anything that happened that day, the girl did not deserve to die. Nobody deserved to die that day. And I blame the mayor, the chief of police, the governor for not controlling the situation. And I think if they had the hindsight that we do now, I think they would have done something differently. But it turns out that I think they just wanted to get pictures of people fighting. I think they wanted that. I think they didn't expect that someone was going to get killed that day. So anyway, all right. Now that a certain person in my chat is back, I'm going to say good morning to everybody, because this morning Maniac Man was first and gets the bell. Thank you, Maniac Man 2030. Glad you're here. Also, good morning, Zombie Tenny, Johnny Hellcat, Richo, Longfish, Cynical Lindsay. Good morning. Hi, Lindsay. I didn't see you, Mr. Scott here. And Necrosol Collins, X-Bubba Hotep. Oh, the gang is rolling in. Woohoo. All right, that's good to know. And we got a handful of lurkers in the background, and I am so happy that you are all here. So let us get started with some news. Also, make sure, if the music works for y'all, I'm gonna leave it at that level, because I think it's just fine for me. Although I gotta turn down my headphones because I gotta be able to hear myself talk. I was enjoying the music so much, and I was about ready to start jamming there. Anyway, all right. Hey, Tyler F., I see you showed up too. All right, let's get it started. First thing first. Over the weekend, I spent a little time. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Thank you, Necrosol and Truckin' Bear, for tweeting out the show. If you are, okay, let's see. I'm gonna do this. Let's get the right one here. I'm gonna put this in the chat. But hey, y'all, if you know. Music is good. All right, thank you, Maniac Man. Hey, I'm putting the tweet in the chat if you want to tweet that out, or you can hit the share button down below here, right down there. Hit that share button, send it down to social media, and while you're here, why not hit the like button? And if you'd like to do super chats, if you got something you got to ask me or you got to have heard, please, the super chat functions are in the description down below under Streamlabs, the Streamlabs link. I do not have YouTube super chats. All right, let's get it going. So this weekend, I spent a little time on Twitter in between different events, and whole lots of things going on. I'm just going to go through. I saved a few things in my Twitter feed here. Let's start here. Couple weird things. I'll put this on the screen here. So in Canada, this is weird. Multiple cable cars have plummeted to the ground in Vancouver, Canada. After a cable was cut, police say they believed it was an act of vandalism. Now, this was up in Vancouver. They had this, like one of those, gondola things that go over, whatever, part of the, what is it? It's called the Sea to Sky Gondola, located in Squamish, British Columbia. Fortunately, it was not in operation at the time of the incident, but somebody cut the cable and all the gondolas fell to the ground. So you can see the one there in the picture. These gondolas hold, I think, 4 to 6 people, and it goes over a real scenic area of waterfalls. Here it is. Numerous cable cars plummeted to the ground near Vancouver's Howe Sound after a cable was cut early Saturday in what the Royal Canadian Mounted Police said they believe was an act of vandalism. The Sea to Sky Gondola, a sightseeing attraction in Squamish, British Columbia, wasn't operating at the time of the incident, which occurred around 4:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, according to a statement on the gondola's website. No guests or staff members were injured No guests or staff members were injured, and the attraction is now closed. So, they think somebody cut it. It goes over this really scenic like mountain area where there's a bunch of waterfalls. Wow. Kind of crazy, huh? All right. The second one I saved. So the Washington Post. Oh, man. The Washington Post decides on, let's see, Sunday's print edition. They decide that they were going to print the name of every mass shooting victim since 1966. Now, what's fascinating about this list, first of all, so this is 54 years, every mass shooting, and they list 165 mass shootings, which is fascinating to me because if you listen to anybody who likes to talk about mass shootings, particularly on the left, they like to say that there's a mass shooting every day of the year. So anyway, clearly this is a list that is very selective in what they use as termed mass shooting. But the other thing I found fascinating about this, so 54 years, 165 mass shootings, they published the names of 1,196 victims. So that adds up to about, I think, 60 a year, which, any is too many. But I'm fascinated with this because someone started, some people were talking about this. So here, we're threading details of the section here. 1,196, that's the number of names on this page. People who were doing ordinary things until they were shot to death by killers bent on mass fatalities. In today's Washington Post, a special 12-page print section lists every mass shooting victim since 1966. And then here they show pictures of 423 people who died between Sandy Hook and Dayton, Ohio. And then this is the moment to reflect on the horrific human toll of mass shootings in our country and to remember the individuals whose lives were cut short. No, this is not a time to reflect. What this is waving a bloody shirt to try and get the gun control debate going. I understand that, and it's not an invalid thing, but to pretend that you're just doing this to memorialize people is bullshit. And now, here's the thing. So some of the replies to this: one, now do abortions, the number one killer, number one cause of death, whatever. Reading this is so depressing. These loons are saying that we have plenty of people to spare, so the number is quite low. They've compared massacres to death by lawnmower or cows, then blame the MSM for blowing it out of proportion. Wait till the AR-15 is aiding at that. Well, here's the thing about this. It's so fascinating as I go through this. I actually had decided to look something up when they put this out there because somebody said, here, let me just go find mine real quick. Just a second here. Let's go here. Oh, hang on. Oh, by the way, I didn't do my response tweet to Joaquin Castro. We'll get to that in a second. Oh shoot, I meant to put this. Oh, here we go. So, someone who replied to this, Neon Taster, replied like this: I don't think it downplays mass shooting to point out that a little over 1,200 deaths in 54 years is not exactly the terrifying plague that this implies it is, especially in a country of 325 million people. That's my own aside. For perspective, 60 times more people died from opioid overdoses in 2017 alone. And then he goes on to say, and if you want a comparison with deaths occurring from someone else's actions, in 2017, there were over 10,000 drunk driving related deaths. Even if only half of those are victims, it's probably higher, that's still several times more deaths in a single year. Now, what I decided to look up, I decided to take that same time period because they said from 1966, 1,196 victims. So I went into some data and added up all of the murders between 1966 and the last year that they have a full years of data, which is 2017. There were 846,393 murders from 1966 to 2017. So their total of 1196 represents 0.14% of the total, obviously not including 2018 to present. So obviously, and we want zero, but this is the Washington Post waving the bloody shirt to amplify a moral panic. And I just joke because there's a joke that Neon Taster is Ben Shapiro's dad. Probably not really, but that's the joke on the internet. So, but yeah, so they're saying from 1966 to present, 1,196 victims, 846,393 murders in that same time period. I don't want to minimize the thing about the mass shootings, but they are absolutely a man bites dog event when they happen. They get amplified so much by the news because they are so unusual. And so when you granted, if you think about it, there's roughly 16,000 murders a year in the United States. We're talking murders. Okay. And so when we have an event, if there's, the last, we went through that ADL study and there were 50 extremist related deaths out of 16,000 murders. And even the extremist related deaths, only 4 of them were ideological crimes. It's not many in a country of 350 and 340 million people. Do we want to end those types of crimes? Absolutely. But for me, pretty low on my list of worries. I bathtub slips was probably more of a worry to me. And in fact, so even if you take that think about it, 846,000 since 1966, and we have roughly 340 million people now, it's a pretty low percentage of a chance of being murdered by anything. Okay, there's so many other things that people die from, and unless you're a black male, ages 15 to 34, which it's not your number one cause of death, and so when a lot of replies to that. But again, this is how the Washington Post waves the bloody shirt because they have an agenda. So you have a higher chance. Yeah, you have a higher chance of dying in a car accident. Well, yeah, there's 10,000 people die from drunk driving car accidents alone, let alone all the other types of accidents there are. So it's an exponentially higher rate. So anyway, also in the bookmarks today, what else was in here? I bookmarked a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see. This was interesting because we're going to talk about Epstein in a minute. But the Southern District of New York, in a statement, points out that Epstein's allegations were part of a conspiracy investigation. So the investigation just doesn't end with Epstein's death. Da-na-na-na-na. fascinating. That it's not just Epstein, and there's a whole lot of people who are named in some of these documents, including, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Good point to make is that anyone who was hoping to get a good deal by cooperating against Epstein now have lost that opportunity. Wow, that could be a problem for quite a few people. I'm just saying, it's not a good thing. Also, Representative, now back to shootings, yippee. Representative Steve Scalise says the president is no more responsible for that shooting in El Paso as Bernie Sanders is for my shooting, and he's not, by the way, responsible. The shooter is responsible. Let's make sure these background check systems work properly. Let's listen to the clip out loud real quick.
In the case of El Paso, it is the largest anti-Latino attack this country has ever seen. The killer said that he went...
Okay. That's a fascinating choice of words. It's the largest anti-Latino attack the country has ever seen. Huh. I would think that maybe the Alamo might be a little bigger than that. I know what she's saying, but you know what? The choice of words there are fascinating. Fascinating. It's just someone who's, again, this is bloody shirt waving, and they're trying to, they're always talking about dog whistles. Well, there's a dog whistle. There's a dog whistle for you. We should be concerned because the white supremacists are coming for the Latinos now. All the white supremacists that, they're all out there. You should be afraid. You know what? Here's the thing. Any of y'all tired of being told that we need to be afraid? Do you think that, I always laugh because, again, this is something that a lot of the Democrats do, and the Republicans do it a little bit too. Well, they do it for different things, but the ones who there's some they love to tell you that the Republicans play on your fears. They hate. They like to hate and fear. Hate and fear mongering. And yet, if you listen to the Democrats, who are just not self-aware, because the Republicans do sometimes try to play on your fears. A lot of, even with the immigration thing, Republicans have a tendency to play on your fears. Sure, you're worried about MS-13, you're worried about this, worried about that, which are not illegitimate, but it is playing on fears. But the Democrats do it all the time. They do it all the time. Joe Biden, Barack Obama's second run for president. They're going to put you all back in chains. This one, the largest anti-Latino attack in the history of America. Anyway, let's finish this clip real quick.
Went to a border town to kill Mexicans. Given this particular context, can you understand the sensitivity to language used by the president when he refers to migrants as invading this country?
Well, first of all, my heart breaks, as everybody's does, when you see what happened. There's no place for it, whether it's somebody that's racist, that hates a certain ethnic group. There's no place for those kind of attacks and attacking people based on their ethnicity. But to try to assign blame to somebody else, I think, is a very slippery slope. Because the president's no more responsible for that shooting as your next guest, Bernie Sanders, is for my shooting. And he's not, by the way, responsible. The shooter is responsible. What we need to do is find out those people that have slipped through the cracks, and we've seen it in shooting after shooting, Sutherland Springs, Charleston, even in Dayton. He had a hit list and a rape list, and yet none of that was in the system. Let's make sure these background check systems work properly and are rooting out the people that shouldn't be able to legally purchase a gun, but currently are because the system hasn't worked.
All right, so there you go. By the way, good morning. Let's see, a couple people dropped in. Marsupial Gamer, Irish Rose, Check Your Logic, how you doing? Rolling Bear, I think I already said I had a Rolling Bear. Maybe I did. Hi, D.I. Freighter, how you doing? Max Del Rio, Okay, and what's this about? Someone gets mad if you say something about the Alamo. Oh, Sophane had some choice words for those who said Alamo. Okay, yeah. I saw that you had a little run-in with Check Your Logic had a little run-in with Sophane this week, and her Sophane decided to set his sights on Check Your Logic. I have to laugh. So I've been having fun with Sophane on Twitter anyway, but he and I get along just fine. But anyway, and as far as the Pulse nightclub shooting, that wasn't it wasn't technically the largest anti-Latino attack. Pulse nightclub is a gay club, not really related to I don't know what wasn't Pulse mostly Latino. Don't know. Sorry, don't know the answer to that. Anyway, all right. What else would other things I bookmarked on Twitter? Just some stupid shit. Oh, dude. So, yeah. Apparently, Business Pack Review shining a light on the ridiculous situation that led to my being injured by a reporter's bodyguard. April Ryan had a run. Well, her hotel people had a run-in with a photographer. She had her bodyguard kind of pull a retard. Excuse me, hard for me to say. She had her bodyguard take a reporter with a camera out of a speech she was giving, and the reporter kind of roughed the guy up a little bit, dragged him out, and by force. And the bodyguard was not part of the hotel staff, so we might go back to that one. Also, let's see. Oh, Bill Binney. All right, we'll get back to this later. Let's get into some stories because I'm spending too much time on this. We might get back to that during Twitter time. Anyway, and just a reminder, the Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Down below, down there, share button. I see several of you have already done this. Shared out the stream today or hit retweet. Thank you, Marsupial Gamer, Rolling Bear, Trucking Bear, Dar, Necrosol Collins, and everybody else who's been tweeting that out for me today. I appreciate you sharing the show for me. Also, if you haven't done so, you just got here, hit that like button while you're thinking about it. I'll remind you at the end if you haven't yet. And if you want to do super chats or have questions, I will answer any questions you ask me via the super chats in the Streamlab link down below. And also, if you want something that make sure that if you need to get my attention, hit that Streamlabs link. All right, moving on. Let's get into some stories today because there's a whole bunch going on. First of all, so when I got up Saturday morning, was it Saturday morning? Yeah, it was Saturday morning. Our shocker of the year, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. Now, everyone's been talking about it all weekend, so I'm not going to get in it way deeply. But I do have 3 stories about it on my list today. So the first one is a Fox News story. Attorney General William Barr said Saturday that he is appalled by the death of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein and said that he has spoken to the Department of Justice Inspector General about opening a probe into the circumstances surrounding the apparent suicide. Apparently also the president himself is apparently furious and wants to make sure that is investigated fully, which kind of, kind of goes against the wisdom on the left that Epstein and Trump were buddy-buddy. Now, we all know that, most of us know, it's been public record that yes, Trump did hang out with Epstein in the 90s. There's video of him at a club, him and Epstein at a club at the same time. There's pictures of them together back from the early 90s. Epstein's problem started happening in the 2000s, and the president had at one point banned Epstein from his club Mar-a-Lago down in Florida because Epstein apparently was trying to hit on the daughter of one of his managers or employees or something, and Trump kicked him out of the club, or the club banned him, and Trump was one of the only cooperating people when Epstein got prosecuted the first time. Now, if you didn't know all this, you can certainly find it. It's in the public record. Trump had a falling out with Epstein over that incident, and Trump was the only person who helped as far as a cooperating witness against Epstein back in the day. So Trump, regardless of the pictures that the Democrats, there's people who, the Trump haters are going to show you these pictures of Trump and Epstein, and then they'll also bring up the fact that Trump flew on Epstein's plane once. Of course, the time was a time when Trump's plane broke down, and he took Epstein's plane from Miami to New York. Unlike other people who spent time on that plane going to New Mexico with Epstein and going to his island, Epstein's private island, on the what they called the Lolita Express. Anyway, so I can understand where Trump would want this case to be fully investigated. Now, but anyway, William Barr stated, "I was appalled to learn that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead early this morning from an apparent suicide while in federal custody. Mr. Epstein's death raises serious questions that must be answered. In addition to the FBI's investigation, I have consulted with the Inspector General, who's opening an investigation into the circumstances of Mr. Epstein's death. Epstein, who's accused of sex trafficking minors, was found unresponsive in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City around 6:30 a.m. Life-saving measures were initiated immediately by responding staff. He was transported to New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital and was dead on arrival, officials said." Now, the funny thing, I'm not going to say funny, but what's fascinating about this, so we hear about Epstein. Or at least I woke up, I opened up Twitter, and it was probably, I'm going to say 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and this news was out already. And so immediately when I looked on the trends on Twitter, I think 18 of the top 20 were related to this. The top one being Epstein, and number 2 was what was it? It's not related to the Clintons. Now I got it. Now I forgot. Help me out. Who knows what number 2 trending? Anyway, everything in the top 20 were related to either Epstein or the Clintons, except for one. Oh, Clinton body count was number 2. It was number 2 on Twitter almost the entire morning. And there was Clinton, Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, this, that. And then about number 17. Now, Clinton body count was number 2. Trump body count was like number 14. So everyone started seeing the Clinton body count trending. And so then all the people on the left were saying, okay, we're gonna do Trump body count too. So the Clinton body count had literally at the time 30,000. It's at 30,000 trending 30,000 tweets so far, and the Trump body count one had 1,600. Okay, and they're trending at the same time. Then all of a sudden, Clinton was trending, Bill Clinton. There was Bill Mitchell. Anyway, former Senator Mitchell, who is implicated in one of the documents. Bill Richardson was implicated, so they were in the trendings. But then about midday, all of a sudden, Clinton body count disappeared from trending. Now, Clinton was still on there. Bill Clinton, all the other ones that Arkin side, Clinton side. I mean, all those, the funny little things that people say. But Clinton body count disappeared from the trending. But all of a sudden, Trump body count jumps to number 5. Just boom. And there's lots of people who put them side by, had pictures of the before and afters showing that, suddenly Clinton body count isn't trending with, probably 30, 50, 40, 50, 60,000 tweets. And Trump body count, it moves up to number 5, and it was still only up to about 2,000 tweets. So clearly, this is a case where Twitter decided that they were going to manipulate the results and move those around, okay? So anyway, but all day. And now it's funny. The one thing, though, that this did, if anything in the world could unite the left and the right, it was Epstein being not being suicided, excuse me. Epstein's suicide united the left and the right, because you had people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stating, this needs to be investigated. Now, obviously, she wants to be investigated because she thinks there's a tie to Trump, but people on the right were saying this needs to be. No, there was rare to find a person who thought, this is probably just suicide. Everybody, because just way too many rich and powerful people involved. People in the royal family, governors, presidents, very wealthy actors. Lots of people spent some time at Epstein's residences. But still, the Clinton body count thing disappearing off the trending was just fascinating. I'm like, it was just like, you couldn't write about how the social media companies bias things, and lots of people were pissed off that was trending. And even here's a bunch of people who are talking about it. Let's see. For example, earlier multiple outlets reported. Let's see. I'm sorry. Epstein's death sparked calls for answers from across the political spectrum. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat in New York, tweeted that we need answers and lots of them. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, New York, said in Iowa that the circumstances surrounding Epstein's death should be, quote, reviewed, end quote. Representative Matt Gaetz, Florida, tweeted and he agreed with AOC. Chairman Representative Jerry Nadler should prioritize a judiciary investigation into how Jeffrey Epstein died in federal custody in Nadler's own neighborhood over the Kavanaugh confirmation. He said that should take priority over the Kavanaugh confirmation and the Russian hoax, which never happened, Gaetz said. Nadler tweeted that he was deeply disturbed at Epstein's death and was pleased that the Justice Department and the FBI would be looking into the matter. There are many questions that need to be answered in the case, the House Judiciary Committee chair added. Representative Ben Sass, Nebraska, said that it was inexcusable. That's a understatement. Inexcusable that Epstein was not under constant suicide watch. These victims deserve to face their serial abuser in court, he said. So anyway, nobody believes. Everybody's wondering how the hell this nonsense happened. So anyway, now, and it's funny because a couple other stories. Bill Clinton wanted to appoint a lawmaker caught in the Epstein scandal to the Supreme Court. Yeah, an alleged sex slave of the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein accused several powerful men of misconduct in a newly unsealed deposition, including a powerful Democratic lawmaker who turned down an appointment to the Supreme Court. Whoa. Virginia, Guffrey said Epstein directed her to perform erotic massages and sexual intercourse with former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell of Maine, an elder statement in the Democratic Party, whom former President Clinton asked to succeed Justice Harry Blackmun in 1994. Mitchell denied any wrongdoing. I mean, you know what? Of course he is, and you know what? Innocent until proven guilty. Just fascinating that the names that were caught up, and also a former Governor Bill Richardson. It's the other thing Now, a lot of people on the left want to show those pictures of Epstein and Trump from the 90s, but it's funny. A lot of these people who are caught up in this investigation or who are named in some of the documents: Bill Mitchell, Bill Richardson, Alan Dershowitz, William Jefferson Clinton. Lots of Democrats in there. And remember, Trump was a New York Democrat. But I'm just saying. Anyway, and in some ways he still is. He's a New York business Democrat. That's what I call Donald Trump. But anyway, so yeah, a guy who could have been on the Supreme Court. Could you imagine if he were on the Supreme Court right now? Whoa! Now, real quick, I have a super chat from X Bubba Hotep. Thank you, my friend. Everyone here is not sad, and the Clintons are great people. None of us want to be saddened. None of us want to sadden ourselves twice in the back of the head. Yeah, y'all, make sure that you are not sad. In fact, I've seen the hashtag this morning. I'm not sad. Be sure to spread that one out today. Another story here on the Epstein saga. Blood on their hands. Here's who an Epstein attorney is blaming for his death. So one of his attorneys is already blaming someone. I saw two of Epstein's lawyers have lawyered up with criminal defense attorneys. Oh my goodness. Well, here's one. Blood on their hands. Here's who the Epstein attorney is blaming for his death. The media, politicians, and the courts are to be blamed for Jeffrey Epstein's apparent suicide, one of his attorneys said on Saturday. Mark Furnich, an attorney for the late multimillionaire found unresponsive in his jail cell Saturday, said he was outraged and called out a hysterical press, overzealous lawyers, and pandering politicians in a statement to Fox News. I speak as an outraged citizen and defense lawyer, not as a representative of Jeffrey Epstein's defense team, Furnich said. There seems plenty of blame to go around for this unthinkable tragedy. Let's not go so far. It's tragedy. The 66-year-old financier was arrested on July 6th with charges related to allegedly sex trafficking minors in New York. Yes, we know all this. He had been on suicide watch after being found injured in his cell on July 25th, and I don't know why they ever took him off suicide watch. In fact, somebody says there's a whole bunch of stories, and I don't know the actual factual, but he was on suicide watch. Apparently, he was off suicide watch for some time. Apparently, the guards didn't check in on him for 4 to 6 hours. And so when they woke him up in the morning, bang, he was hanging. I still don't understand also. Okay, so he's on suicide watch at any point in his time as a prisoner, right? So how is it that how do you hang yourself in a prison? I mean, did you take off your pants and hang yourself with your pants? But then how do you get yourself up there? It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, it is not officially confirmed whether he was still under suicide watch before his death Saturday. Furnich said he blamed prosecutors bent on locking up a presumptively innocent man posing no real danger or flight risk. Well, what do you mean? This is a guy who had like 4 different passports from 4 different countries. What do you mean he's no danger or flight risk? As well as jailers who appear to have recklessly put Mr. Epstein in harm's way for his client's death. Taking a swipe at the media, Furnich said he also blamed the breathless reporters who were clamoring to recharge Mr. Epstein for dated crimes. No. This guy's lying his ass off. These were new charges, different victims. Holy crap. And the sweetheart deal from the first time. Ooh, not a good thing. Speaking of that, the federal prosecutor who allowed the state to set up that deal, what's he, the labor secretary or something? I don't know. That's not his fault. The state of Florida is the one who set up the sweetheart deal, and that's not what the federal prosecutors were expecting when it happened, and that's why the federal prosecutors backed off. And so, now he's facing federal charges. The trafficking, because he took minors across several state lines, and that's a whole new charge. That's a whole new charge from the Florida. So don't give me this crap about clamoring to recharge Epstein for dated crimes. That's a big pile of steaming crap. It's crap. All right. Anyway, all these actors appear to bear some responsibility for this calamity. All seem to have a share in Mr. Epstein's blood on their hands. All should be ashamed of their behavior, Furnish added. Well, if it wasn't Epstein, now it would probably be Epstein later when he's in a real prison with real prisoners after all the minors. So, whatever. Do you think he got the heart attack or like the cave dancer at Breitbart? Yeah, man. Breitbart's death was not a good thing. Let's see. I don't need that one. Oh, here we go. So now into some other stuff. Interesting editorial in Town Hall magazine by Kurt Schlichter. I just thought it was fascinating. Now, I'm not a gun person, but I am one of those people who think that the Second Amendment is written the way it's written, and it is an individual right, which the Supreme Court did affirm with the Heller case in 2008. That's funny. I got in a thing with someone about that who was saying their line was, well, the gun. Oh, it was Joe Scarborough. Joe Scarborough, of all people, former Republican. Joe Scarborough was saying, only the gun was not an original right until Scalia wrote that in, 2008. And it's like, no. Everything in the Bill of Rights are individual rights. They wouldn't trade out, have one suddenly, we're going to write all these 10 things in the Bill of Rights that are individual rights, except for the one about the right to bear arms. That's not an individual right. The rationale behind the right does not mean the right is not an individual right. So everything before that comma in the Second Amendment is just a rationale for the right to bear arms. And that's what the Heller decision said. And it was reaffirming an individual right, just like the rest of the Bill of Rights. So anyway, this is an interesting article from Kurt Schlichter. It was quite a surprise to find out we Trump voters were personally responsible for the savage murder sprees of a creep who dug single payer and a Satanist fan of Big Chief Warren. The El Paso scumbag decided he wanted to murder Hispanics because migration would somehow destroy the environment, which falls right in line with the classic progressive eugenics balderdash. The Democrat from Dayton was full on resistance, but apparently we conservatives were to blame for their actions because we refused to give up our rights. Now, those links I just outlined between these idiots' political beliefs and liberals should not act to place the moral blame for their vile deeds upon liberals, but they must, because that's apparently the new rule. It's a stupid rule, and I think we should get back to the old rule. The person being responsible for the crime he commits is the criminal. But since the new rule is in effect, then the liberals can enjoy it like a suppository. Schlichter cracks me up. Remember, everything the mainstream media tells you at the behest of the liberal elite is a lie and a scam designed to increase their power and wealth by diminishing your power and wealth. Global warming? It's such a crisis, they need to fly their private jets to fabulous resorts to discuss how you must trade in your Ford Expedition for a Schwinn, and how millions of people like you who support their families in the petroleum industry better learn to code. And now the crisis of 2 left-friendly mutants out of 335 million people means you need to be disarmed. Oh, and you're also racist because, oh, you're also racist, so you should be disenfranchised too. Weird how the liberal solution to every problem is always to make you less free. One of their tactics is exhaustion, to exhaust the weak among us and get them to say, gosh, if we just give in, we can put this unpleasantness behind us. But you can't put anything behind you with these people because there's nothing to put behind you. It's all a lie. You are not a racist. Your guns won't hurt anyone but criminals and aspiring tyrants, and the leftist knows it. They know they are spewing skeevy slanders, and if you give in on this one, handing over your AR-15 and hanging your head over prejudice you don't possess, the libs and their new newsprint lackeys will just club you with another set of grievances that you can only atone for through further submission. It will never end. They will always hate you, always. Nothing you can do will change that. Nothing. So get used to it and invite them to pound sand. It would be nice to have libs and their media goons not sliming us all the time with manifest falsehoods. It would also be nice to have a pet unicorn named Chet, always ready to make a run to the liquor store to pick up sixers of Dos Equis and some Doritos. Neither one is going to happen, and you can't change that by giving in. No matter how much you abase yourself, it will never be enough for them to not hate you. Now it goes on and on, but I think that was a pretty good sample of what that one's about, and I just got a kick out of it, so I thought I'd read a little bit. Good morning, by the way, sadistic atheist, how you doing? They knocked away a melted block of ice that stood on top of in order to kill himself. They supplied him with that big block of ice, didn't they? And who else? Someone else showed up. Tales of Gore, how you doing? I do not have information that will lead to the arrest of any member of the Clinton family. That's because you're not sad. Can I get another hashtag? I'm not sad. There you go. I'm not sad. Who else? Now, I love the fact that I'm seeing new names in the chat too. That's fantastic. I'm so happy you guys are here. Just a reminder. Share, like, super chats down there if you need them. If you need to, whatever. Okay, we got 19 people. All right. So anyway, Schlichter's a pretty funny guy. I'm gonna put his editorial in the chat. Don't be sad. Please don't be sad. Okay, there's Schlichter's. There's the one I just read. You can read the rest of it if you'd like. There you go. It's catching on. I'm not sad. We might try to have to get that one trending today. I don't know. There's a couple interesting trends today that fascinated me. Just out of here. I'm not sad and I'm not sorry either. Hey, there you go. Right on. Oh, hi, MC. Hammer time. Uh-oh. Hammer time. Hammer time. All right. Hey, this is... in the Department of what's this one? This one's kind of a Darwin Award. I found this hilarious, but it's sad even though it's hilarious, but not that kind of sad because I'm not sad. Naked agitated bus passenger killed running into Virginia traffic. This happened in Prince George, Virginia. Virginia State Police say a Greyhound bus passenger got naked, demanded to be let off a moving bus, and ran into oncoming highway traffic where he was hit and killed. Police Public Relations Director Corianne N. Geller said in a news release that the extremely agitated man began taking off his clothes on a Greyhound bus on Thursday night. He then struck the front windshield, causing it to crack, while demanding to be let off the bus. The release says the bus driver pulled over and the man exited. He ran into oncoming traffic and was fatally hit by another vehicle. The man died at the scene. The other driver wasn't injured. Virginia State Police is investigating the crash. I'm trying to think of something to say about that, but when I read that headline, I had to read it, and I thought I'd share it today. Perhaps. Now, the question is, was he sad? Did he... Makes you wonder. Was he sad? Anyone? Do you think he was sad? I don't know. maybe he was. What else do I got? Oh, I'm not going to read this one. This is really long. I'm going to put it in the chat, though. There's a fascinating article in Politico that I didn't realize. I missed it. It's from August 2nd, so it's from 10 days ago. But it's an article on the Bidens and people cashing in on a Biden name. So I thought it was fascinating. I'll put it over the screen here. The day the Bidens took over Paradigm Global Advisors was a memorable one. In late summer of 2006, Joe Biden's son Hunter and Joe's younger brother James purchased the firm. On their first day on the job, they showed up with Joe's other son, Beau, and two large men, and ordered the hedge fund's chief compliance to fire its president, according to Paradigm executive who is president. After the firing, the two large men escorted the fund's president out of the firm's Midtown Manhattan office, and James Biden laid out his vision for the fund's future. Don't worry about investors, he said, according to the executive who spoke on condition of anonymity, citing fear of retaliation. We've got people all around the world who want to invest in Joe Biden. Huh. What part of his body cracked the windshield? That's super triple secret. Okay. At the time, the senator was just months away from both assuming the chairmanship of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and launching his second presidential bid. According to the executive, James Biden made it clear he viewed the fund as a way to take money from rich foreigners who could not legally give money to his older brother or his campaign account. We got investors lined up in a line of 747s filled with cash ready to invest in this company, the executive remembers James Biden saying. At this, the executive recalled Beau Biden, who was then running for Attorney General of Delaware, turned bright red. He told his uncle, "This can never leave this room, and if you ever say it again, I will have nothing to do with this." A spokesman for James and Hunter Biden said no such episode occurred. Beau Biden died in 2015 at age 46. But the recollection of an effort to cash in on Joe's political ties is consistent with other accounts provided by other former executives at the fund. Three former Paradigm executives said James and Hunter Biden also sought to capitalize on Joe's strong ties to labor unions in the hopes of landing investments from them. Charles Praviti, who briefly served as Paradigm's president, said both James and Hunter repeatedly cited Joe's political ties when they recruited him to work for the fund. I was told because of his relationship with the unions that they felt as though it would be favorably looked upon to invest in the fund as long as it was a good fund, Pravini recalled. So this goes on and on. It just it's one of those things, it happens in families, and Joe Biden's been in the Senate since the 70s. In government since the 70s, Congress and the Senate. Here's the article, by the way. I'm going to put it in the chat. And the idea that his sons, his brother, and others would capitalize off of that to make money just reminds you how politics seems to work really well for people in politics. I think of, Bernie Sanders, for example. He's a socialist who is a multimillionaire and has 3 homes and drives a $200,000 Audi R8. And he's never held any other job in his life other than being in Congress. And the funny thing about that, I don't know if it's funny and more sad if you ask me, do you realize that Bernie Sanders has been in since I think 1991, and he's only passed I think 3 pieces of legislation like that had his origin on it. It says I think it was Bernie got elected in 1991 for the first time, something like that. What? Go figure. Anyway, we're gonna move on. Oh, by the way, did you hear about this? Sex scandal rocks FBI. Top agents under fire for reported sexual affairs with CNN reporters. How did I miss this? Maybe you all heard about this already. It's from 5 days ago, but high-ranking FBI insiders say they reported top-level FBI brass for continued sexual romps with CNN reporters, but former FBI Director James Comey and his successor Christopher Wray looked the other way and did nothing. Huh. 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 The extramarital affair between fired FBI boss Peter Strzok and FBI top lawyer Lisa Page is public knowledge. Page has resigned from the bureau. Now Strzok's name has surfaced again in regards to the unfolding CNN scandal. According to FBI insiders, and other FBI bosses are implicated as well for sexual trysts with CNN reporters and anchors. Huh. Here's what we know. High-level FBI officials complained to the highest executive offices of the FBI that Strzok and more top agents were engaged in sexual relationships with CNN on-air personnel. Those high-ranking sources say top management did not investigate the reports and the relationships continued. And the sexual romps still might continue today. Ha! That's my new voice of incredulity. Ha! Oh my gosh. I sound like a llama choking up a piece of hay. FBI agents having sexual relations with the media is something that is not only frowned upon, you think, at the FBI, but also highly problematic. I can't imagine why. Look no further than the classified links that CNN has published, breaking anti-Trump stories with insider information from Justice Department insiders. Everyone saw the text between Strzok and Page, but they both worked here, one FBI insider said. I can imagine the text between agents and their girlfriends who don't have a security clearance. And who are paid to publicize insider intelligence and spread rumors. The anti-Trump FBI bosses want to spread a perfect setup for fake news or an organized propaganda underground to slander the Trump White House and their enemies. Strzok and Page, for instance, were caught leaking stories to the Washington Post and other mainstream news outlets according to the content of their texts, which have been made public. The content of the stories had a negative slant towards President Donald Trump. Yeah, they thought they hated him. They thought Hillary should win 100% to 0. FBI insiders believe classified and sensitive intelligence that was leaked to CNN as a byproduct of agents engaged in sexual affairs. This is it's going to be really, really interesting. It just is. It's going to get really, really interesting, particularly when the Inspector General report comes out. Now, the other part of this too. So we already know that Peter Strzok and Andrew McCabe are suing the FBI and the Justice Department for their firings. Perhaps they are getting ahead of something big coming down the pike. They know that they're in one of those, what did I say before? Deep steaming pile of, I don't know, bull doo-doo. Amazing. So anyway, yeah. So I'm waiting for someone to be. I'm waiting to find out which CNN anchors and news people they're talking about. Probably people who, well, there's got to be someone at CNN who's been getting some of these leaked stories. We already know that certain stories, was it Anderson Cooper? A story was leaked too, but not because of some sexual things. Somebody at the FBI was leaking stories to Anderson Cooper. And that was found out, and Cooper, I can't remember now. Oh, by the way, did I mention I do have my cup of reparations coffee with me? Ooh. And I hated that. Makes you wonder who Christopher Ray and James Comey were sleeping with. I don't think they weren't in the, according to this, that wasn't who they were talking about. But the fact that they looked the other way and may still look the other way. Dana Bash, that could be. Who knows? Anyway. All right, so I thought that was fascinating. There's more to that. What else did I pull up here? Oh, yeah, so this is the hotel footage proving April Ryan's bodyguard violently dragged a reporter out of the building. So, newly obtained video surveillance footage proves that April Ryan's security guard placed his hands on a local New Jersey reporter during an event held last week at the Heldrich Hotel in downtown New Brunswick, New Jersey. Seen below, the footage shows what happened after Brunswick. Oops, there's my alarm. After the reporter, Charlie Cradaville, his camera was snatched from him by Ryan's security guard. He followed the guard to the lobby, retrieved his camera from him, and then was grabbed by the guard who dragged him out of the building. Now, I'm going to show you the first part of this, because this is the beginning. April Ryan's there to give a speech. Oh, here it is right here. Video shows him. Okay. As Ryan began speaking, she kept staring at Cradaville's camera in an odd manner. Soon after, her security guard approached her and she signaled for him to do something. Ryan then stood there staring at the camera for about 30 seconds, up until the moment someone snatched the camera from Cradaville and the confrontation ensued. So here's the first part when she's here to give the speech. Watch this.
It is so wonderful to be here in New Jersey. You just don't know.
Now she looks over.
To all the elected officials, hello. To all of you parents.
Apparently she didn't want anyone to see this. Now there's the guard. Okay, now watch. She waits until the guard. And apparently this reporter had credentials to be in the room, so I don't know why this happened. But she doesn't want anyone hearing her speech.
What I will say, when I
Don't
speak,
touch my camera, please.
when I speak, I do not have news. I don't have news covering my speech. because
Don't
I'm
you
very-
dare put that down, sir. That's my camera.
I'm very, I have a conversation with you all. And I want to speak.
So this guy walks up, takes the guy's camera, and starts walking out the room. All right, so, all right, so that's. I'll show you the rest. Let's just show the rest from when he get into the lobby. So here now is when they get into the lobby, and you can't see it, but the guy's saying. All right, so up in this corner, you'll see there's the guy.
Pardon me, guys. I understand stole my camera.
No, you can have the camera.
Give me my camera.
Now someone said this is not your camera. So this is the guy right here who took the camera, put it on the counter. Now he's walking away with it as he sees the guy come up behind it.
I understand stole my camera.
No, you can have the camera.
Give me my camera. Give me my camera. Give me my camera. Let go of my camera. Thank you. Don't touch me, please. Give me some space.
Tell you right now, you're not allowed back in that
Come
room.
over here.
We need him out. We need him out.
I need this guy to get out right now. How dare you come in here and interrupt this event like this? No, you get out of here right now. What is out? Get out.
Now he's saying he was invited.
Don't you dare touch my camera. Don't you. This guy is chasing me. Get.
Now he grabs it.
Get off of me, you asshole!
Now this guy's he is not a member of the media. This is fascinating.
Call the police! Call the police! Call the police! I was invited guest.
All right, so that is that. April Ryan. I don't know, man. Yeah, so this is where I got the crime rate stats. I added all those up from the earlier part. All right, now the last one here. I thought this was insane. So y'all heard about the knife attack? 4 people were killed, mass stabbing. Unbelievably, new law requires all cutting implements to be replaced with paper knives. In California, Sacramento, California, in order to prevent crimes of stabbing and reduce metal and plastic waste, the state of California has signed into law a requirement that all cutting implements be replaced by eco-friendly 100% recycled paper knives. Beginning in January of next year, restaurants, homes, and other businesses will be required to replace any sharp-edged tools like kitchen knives with new paper models. The paper models don't actually cut per se, but help you feel like you're doing something to help. People across the state are expected to cut theirs. Okay, I'm just kidding. This is from... I can't even read this. This is from the Babylon Bee. But I have a feeling, if you haven't been paying attention lately, you realize... I have a feeling Snopes might just fact check this article. Just because... it sounds so real. Yes, the paper knives will always be entirely useless, and you'll have to use like 300 of them to make a dent in a piece of chicken, but this makes it look like we're doing something, said California Governor Gavin Newsom. And if we don't do anything, people will start to wonder why we even need a government. Once word begins to leak out that you didn't do something about a non-existent crisis, people will begin to disobey you, and then it's work all the time. So yeah, paper knives. Use them and love them, or else. All right. Yeah, paper cuts are painful. Good call. That's, oh, Max Del Rio. That's beautiful. All right. So that's the, all right. So that's the joke of the day from the Babylon Bee. Actually, I do have a joke of the day. I'll save it for tomorrow, though, because we got to get into Twitter trends so I can get out of here. We're about that time. Also, another thank you, Angel Tibbs, for tweeting out the show today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. All right, let's get into Twitter trends before we go. We got about 15 minutes, so we have time for that today. Now, here, let's get there. All right, here we go. It is Monday, and Monday is always a Monday day. Number 1, 2, and 3 are all Monday trends, Monday motivation, Monday morning, Monday thoughts. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's do Monday thoughts. We'll skip the top 2. Is there a good Monday thought? Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscious stupidity. Martin Luther King Jr. Trump made America the best country in the nation. Okay, so that's now look, a lot of times people say the left can't meme, and this is one of those people who hate Trump, including MLK Resist Trump, impeach Trump now, Epstein. Oh, they put Epstein's suicide cover up. Ooh, I gotta open that one. Sorry, we're gonna get into that one, but it's not trending. But I gotta see the fever swamp in the Epstein suicide cover up hashtag. All right, let's get a better Monday thought. Oh, messy hair don't care. Just some pictures of this fine young individual. She's got a cute smile, and my name is Judith and I love food. Monday thought. Okay, you got a 6 head though. Let's find a good Monday. Is there a good Monday thought today? Oh man, that's, you know what, that is, as much as this is poignant. If I'm carjacked, I'm considered a crime victim. If I'm robbed, I'm considered a crime victim. If I'm kidnapped, I'm considered a crime victim. If I'm raped, I'm an accuser. You're an accuser in all those scenarios. But yeah, it's a good point. But again, you have to prove a crime. Anytime you accuse someone else of a crime, you're an accuser. Okay. Usually, those other instances, you're a crime victim after the crime. I don't know. That's a tough call, man. It's a good point. But because not too many people make fake carjacking accusations or robbery accusations, or if you're usually a kidnapped person, you know they're kidnapped. Oh man, Monday thought. less you care what people think of you, the more you think of yourself. Oh, think of yourself or for yourself? Of yourself. It will be joke of tomorrow. All right, we're going to do the joke of the day just for that, Max Del Rio. I'll get to it in a minute. I wanted to rewrite it, but it was because I got it from somewhere else. But anyway. All right, there's no good. Forget Mondays. The Monday hashtags are always just stupid. Let's go. Oh, my Bernie story. This should be good. That's trending number 4. My Bernie story. Let's see what people come up with. Oh no. Bernie Sanders. Today, this campaign is not just about me. It's about us. Together, we will defeat Trump and transform the country. Download the Burn app and record a My Bernie story to tell us why you're a part of the movement. Okay, now, how to create your Bernie story. Download the Burn official 2020 Bernie 2020 app on the Apple Store and Google Play. Go to, oh my, you know what? This is good. Create your own Bernie story. You know what? Can you imagine how many people are going to just download this app and they're going to create their Bernie story? But it's going to be a story about how the future of Bernie, let's say Bernie became president, it's going to be something about bread lines that Bernie never has to stand in. I'm just saying. Oh my gosh. I'll be voting for Bernie Sanders for the 2020 election because he stands for the American people. Here's her 48-second Bernie story. 54 seconds. Let's listen to this young lady's Bernie story. Hang on, here we go.
My name is Abigail Lowry, and I support Bernie.
Oh my gosh, I can't even hear it. Can you guys hear her? Hang on, I'm going to put her back. This is her Bernie story. I got to turn this way up, though. Okay, she's not worth turning the music down for. I'm sorry. I'm not. Let's find it. Let's see if we can find anyone else. Oh, no. Hang on. All right. Anyone else? Oh, gosh, come on. Turn this back up to here so I can hear it. Yeah, she's 12. Okay, beautiful burners. It's time to share your Bernie story, Sanders story. Oh my gosh, please, Lord, give me one good Bernie story. I support Bernie because I want the American people to have as much power and say in our politics and future as multinational corporations. Look, here's the thing. You're either going to have independent companies, big and small, doing what they do, or you're going to have the government having all the power in our politics. You won't have say in our politics if Bernie becomes president. Every socialist, they're all top down. They're all top down. They all control your life. The less government I can have in my life, the happier I am. You know, if I voluntarily give my money to a multinational corporation for something I want because I spent my time working to earn the money so I can go get what I want, I'm happy with that. And that's the way it should be. Oh my God. Hers is on BernieSanders.com. Is there? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's check out this Bernie story. How long is it? 45 seconds. Let's see if she...
Hey, I'm Seikoom, and I'm from Virginia. I've always been saddened by the level of inequalities faced by Black, Brown, and Indigenous.
Bernie's not going to help you with that.
This comes from our broken criminal justice system, or the
broken criminal justice system. Their job is to put people who do bad things in jail. But you know what? I don't know what's broken about it. What is broken about it? Yes. Now, the current president has been working on fixing some of the sentencing guidelines, and he's. It's funny because I always laugh because if it's Kamala Harris, if Kamala Harris becomes a Democrat nominee, I know what ad's going to come out first. While Kamala Harris put a lot of black people in jail. Donald Trump has helped get people who maybe got a raw deal out of jail.
Educational and environmental disparities.
Educational environmental disparities are not because of any... Oh, don't get me started, lady!
I support Bernie Sanders because he's actually committed to making sure that everybody in this country is treated equally. He plans on doing this through implementing criminal justice reform, fighting for environmental...
Criminal justice reform already started there under this president. Amazing. The racist. Remember the racist president that we're supposed to have? And one of his big accomplishments has been criminal justice reform. First Step Back worked with Van Jones, a total lefty guy, and many other people to get some things done in criminal justice reform. Yeah, okay.
Justice and strengthening our voting rights.
Okay, strengthening your voting rights. Your voting rights are just fine, dear. I'm sorry. What do you mean strengthening your voting rights? You have the right to vote. How much more strength in the voting rights do you need?
To this will decrease the daily barriers faced by POC. If you're...
No, you won't. Your daily barriers are in your mind, dear. Oh my God. As a fellow, I hate to say this, but POC, there are no barriers. I don't allow any barriers. Okay? It's not about, I prefer American of African descent. God, dog. Excuse me. I made a mistake there. I made a mistake, and I'm going to fix it right now. American of African and Irish descent, because I have Nigerian, Igbo, and Irish descent. But I'm an American first.
You agree with me that the racial disparities in this country should be fixed? Join our campaign. If you have any questions about Bernie or this election, let's talk. Fixing this
country. Let's not. Racial disparity.
Will take all of us.
Yeah, I don't know. No more Bernie story. I can't do it. Normally I would take one for the team. I'm talking to you, team. I would take another one for the team, but I'm not going to right now because I just don't have the time for it. And I want to see what else is trending. So my Bernie story. Oh, good Lord. World Elephant Day today. So celebrating the largest land animals on World Elephant Day. Okay. We'll just take a picture. Hopefully there'll be one good picture. There's one good picture. There's some elephants moving. All 17 of these young elephants were rescued from the wild after they were observed in dangerous, life-threatening situations. Keeper brought them to Sheldrick Wildlife Orphanage, where they would live until they're ready to go reintegration unit in one of Kenya's national parks. Oh, that's cool. That's a giant bottle, man. Newest member, cool. We'll just let this finish out, I think. I don't know how much longer. 30 seconds left. We're watching this video in honor of World Elephant Day. So there you go. Happy World Elephant Day, everybody. Elephants are interesting creatures because they do, they're very smart. They do socialize in similar ways to humans. They take care of each other. Fascinating animals. Okay. Number 6, DJ Arafat. What? Okay, rest in peace to Ivory Coast legend Hoon Ange Didier, aka DJ Arafat. The cause of death was a motorcycle accident late Sunday night in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Fascinating. I'm not familiar with him. Died in a road accident. He was 33 years old. He gave Africa this massive hit and somebody more like it, Sleep Well King. Okay, so he was popular in, I'm going to guess in Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Ghana, the West African nations. When I was in Africa, I heard so much awesome music when I was over there. And they do play a lot of American music too, but there was so much, really cool African pop music. A funny thing is for some reason in Lagos in particular, we would be listening to the radio and they love John Mayer over there. I would hear, like 5 or 6 times a day, I would hear a John Mayer song for some reason. Nigerians really like John Mayer, but yeah, there's so much great music over there. It was really, really cool. All right, moving on. Happy birthday, Charlie. Who the hell's Charlie? Charlie who? Charlie. What? Who? What? When I see, why is it trending? Okay, so my dog's name is Charlie. He's 3 years old today. He's a very good boy. Happy birthday, Charlie. But why is this trending today? Well, it appears Happy Birthday Charlie is trending, and now my 5-year-old daughter will ever believe that it is for her. Also, her party theme was Katy Perry video Roar. Her pick, of course. Okay, I have no idea why Happy Birthday Charlie. What Charlie this is trending for? We don't know. Happy Birthday Charlie. Shibata, don't know what that is. Probably some kind of a. Okay, this is some wrestling thing. I don't know. Alex Albon to replace Pierre Gasly as Red Bull F1 team. Oh, he's a race car driver. Okay. Endangered Species Act. Here we go. The Trump administration is finalizing major changes Monday to the way it enforces the landmark Endangered Species Act, a move it says will reduce regulatory burden, but critics charge it will drive more creatures to extinction. I'm gonna guess this is a Washington. No, it's an AP article. Let's just do the AP because I actually am interested in this. All right. Trump overruling. Okay, so what changes? The administration was making public a final rule overhauling the way the federal government handles protections for plants and animals at risk of extinction. Information about the rule and Monday's release was obtained by the Associated Press beforehand. The Endangered Species Act is credited with helping save the bald eagle, California condor, and scores of other animals and plants from extinction since President Nixon signed it into law in 1973. The Trump administration says the changes will make the regulation more efficient and less burdensome while preserving protections for wildlife. At least 10 attorney generals joined conservation groups in protesting an early draft of these changes, saying they put more wildlife at greater risk of extinction. The draft version of the changes released last year included ending blanket protections for animals newly deemed threatened and allowing federal authorities for the first time to consider the economic cost of protecting a particular species. Another change could let authorities disregard impacts from climate change, one of the largest threats to habitat, conservation groups said. So there's going to be a fight over that. We'll kind of keep an eye on it. But yeah, so interesting. I'm curious as to more specific details, which we're not going to get in an article today. But we'll have to keep an eye on that one. All right, moving on. Eric Saubert. Who is Eric? That's Eric Saubert, pre-draft profile from. Okay. Oh, he's a receiver for the Falcons. Okay, I don't something football. Football's coming up, people. Training camp is full swing. We should, in fact, aren't the first exhibition games this coming weekend? Do we get first? Anyone know? I think it's the first weekend of exhibition games, the preseason, whatever you call them. Monday mood. We'll skip that. First day of school. Teachers gear up for the first day of school. Yeah, first day of school is coming. A lot of people started there's some that start this week. A lot of schools start the week before Labor Day. Certain places start the week after Labor Day. So there you go. I'm not going to get into that too deep. This, whatever that is trending. I'm sure it has to do with K-pop. 130 weeks with Spring Day. What the hell? What is that? Oh, that's BTS. Okay, more K-pop. Gotta have K-pop Mondays because there's always some K-pop thing trending on Monday mornings. And then Heather Heyer, we mentioned earlier. Remember the on this? Oh yeah, great. Yeah, Heather Heyer died because of white supremacists and neo-Nazis. We know who emboldened them. False. Absolutely false. We're going to be hearing about this all day. You know what? Again, may she rest in peace. whatever. Ask Bully. Don't know. Buttons I love to press. Oh, well, let's ask Bully first. Okay. This is something. Let's see. Ask Bully, do you feel there's not enough performers selling moves like they used to? For example, John Gargano kicking out of everything thrown at him constantly, and Seth not fully selling his ribs in the last half of the match last night. Yeah, apparently SummerSlam was last night, and so last night, it was weird on Twitter. I just glanced, and everything was about SummerSlam, about Goldberg and this, what's his name, Gargano, and Seth, what's his face, and I don't even know who the wrestlers are now. I don't watch it anymore. But I did see a pretty fascinating, apparently Goldberg, the former St. I think he played for St. Louis. Anyway, made it back into the ring for SummerSlam, and his match lasted about a minute as he did 2 giant spears and then whatever. If you're a wrestling fan. So I'm not going to ask Bully. I forget Bully. Buttons I love to press. Oh, this should be one that someone mentioned Sofane earlier. This is a tag, the hashtag that he should love today, because he loves to press buttons on Twitter. Buttons I love to press. The one that opens trap doors. Okay. Buttons I love to press. Mute during commercials. Buttons I love to press. Baby's belly. Okay, these are kind of cute. Buttons I love to press. The red one, usually. Do not press, okay? Buttons I love to press. I get no satisfaction because I try and I try and I try and I try. I can't get no satisfaction. All right. Buttons I love to press. Beep, beep, honk. Oh, now, don't die. Yeah, I get what they're saying there. Okay. Buttons I love to press. Yours. Okay. So anyway, that's... Why that hashtag showed up today, I don't know. And finally, what is this? Something Sysdead chat? What the hell does that mean? A4 great is a choice. Okay, I don't know what that means. Nobody knows. Okay, this is one of those hashtags that you go, what the fuck is this? What the hell is this? I don't know. I'm gonna go away from it. And then this one, Mon babies, Elka's, Selka, what? Anyone know what the hell that means? All I see is a bunch of, okay, maybe it's something to do with K-pop too. So we're gonna skip that. But let's get it. We're gonna finish out today with one that we saw earlier. Until you said the word wrestling, I had no idea what you were talking about. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay, sorry, Max. And those of you who don't follow wrestling at all. All right, so the last one we're going to do here is just to see the cancer that is this hashtag, Epstein suicide cover-up. Now, it's going to be cancer from every which way you look at it, but here we go. This is someone named L.A. Tiffany. She's a conservative. Because I follow her. FBI has blatantly failed to indict Hillary, used an unverified dossier to obtain FISA warrants, and still mum on the Vegas shooter. We have a better chance of hiring Scooby-Doo and those meddling kids in the Mystery Machine to solve this shit. True. Australian news show gets cut off whilst talking about Jeffrey Epstein and the relation to the Clintons and other high-ranking connections. Retweet this. Oh, check this out.
Talking about names in the royal family, all kinds of names.
So yeah, because there's a whole bunch.
Something that somebody else said.
So have Epstein's secrets died with him now, or are we going to learn a lot more about all those rich, powerful, and famous people that allegedly had girls procured for them by Epstein?
Hopefully, we learn what was going on there. The prosecution is not dead because one of the charges against Jeffrey Epstein was a conspiracy charge. And that's significant because it means that other people were involved. So we know that other people were due to be charged. They just haven't been charged yet. But with the names that you're starting to see thrown around in these things, I mean, former high officials in the Clinton administration, you're talking about names in the royal family, all kinds of names have been thrown around, and we're just scratching the surface of documents that are the surface of the documents that are available now.
So, Michael, is there a chance that we do learn the truth, but it's so outrageous that nobody actually believes it?
You know, I was asked that question a number of times today, and it just remains to be seen what the resolve is of prosecutors. And that, you know, it may not be a prosecutor that finds out the truth. It may be some intrepid reporter like yourself who takes it into the bit into their mouth and runs with it and finds and is determined after years and years to find out what the truth is. But I think that the truth is, at its core, probably something.
Yeah, okay, so that's where it gets cut off. So this is an Australian TV. Fascinating. Oh, here we go. I like presidents that don't murder their best friends. Yeah, this is from 1991. Again, these are pictures. Epstein was, pretty ubiquitous in Miami circles down in the 90s. And so, yeah, anyone who was anybody probably ran into Epstein and whatever. Guards pretending not to notice what's going on at Epstein's cell. From Bird Box, Epstein suicide cover-up. The cameras just as Epstein killed himself. Bravo 6, going dark. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is most definitely alive. Epstein suicide cover-up. That's weird. Some people, there's a theory out there that he's alive. They whisked him off somewhere and put a body double in for his death. So this is the picture of supposedly him on the gurney, and they're saying that this is not actually him. Of course, this is a picture from probably 20 years ago, so that, who knows. Well, first question, did Epstein row with Angus Taylor at Oxford? I don't know. Epstein suicide cover-up. Rest in peace, homeless man. Long live the Epstein, I suppose. Yeah, they're showing pictures from several years ago. A post from an employee at detention center. Not saying anything after. Okay, let's see this. It's going to be a fever swamp this is going to be the new. This might be as big of a controversy, conspiracy theory as the murder of John F. Kennedy, unless they actually find out information. So anything, not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night after 04:15 count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number, and a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I am shaky right now, but I think they switched him out. So that's gonna just adding to the conspiracy. Me, after hearing Epstein suicide cover. If you're not familiar with that, that's Columbo. That's a detective show from the early to mid 70s. Peter Falk, famous actor. Just when you thought the Epstein suicide cover-up couldn't get any crazier, what does this say? Oh. What is this? He's the chairman of the House. Who is Dr. Michael Baden? He was the chairman of the House Select Committee on Assassinations Forensic Pathology panel that investigated the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Oh, here we go. Breaking. The New York City Medical Examiner says the determination is pending further from information at this time as to Jeffrey Epstein's death. At the request of Epstein's representatives with the knowledge of federal prosecutors, Dr. Michael Baden also attended. Dr. Michael Baden was chairman of the Select House Committee on Assassinations Forensic Pathology panel and investigated the assassination of John F. Kennedy. This guy must be pretty damn old. Holy crap. Yeah, this is going to be, unless they find something out, this is going to be as big as the Kennedy mystery. No time to talk about Prince Andrew or Jeffrey Epstein today. Save it for another morning. Jeffrey Epstein cover up. Yeah, no one's talking. Some of the morning shows didn't talk about it. Didn't talk about it. fascinating. Yeah, they're and then they're showing different pictures. That is definitely a different ear. But again, you know what? Your ears, nose, and different things grow for most of your life, and so who knows if these are? Who knows? Plus, when you die, your skin gets loose and shit. Oh no, I keep seeing Epstein's picture and think of Penn State coach Jerry Sandusky. I did a side-by-side that's pretty close. Do pedophiles all have the same smirk? Oh, good God. They do look somewhat alike, so. All right, enough of this. If you want to see this hashtag, you can look it up yourself. Epstein suicide cover-up. I gotta call it a day, people. I gotta call it a day. So, hey, thank you all for being here. I do gotta get out of here. It is my pleasure to be here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT, until that daylight savings time thing goes away or comes around. I don't know which is which. Are we in daylight saving time, or is daylight savings time's in the summer? And then the real time gets back in the fall. So until that, it's going to be 2 p.m. GMT for all of you in the other parts of the world that use GMT. Shit going down in the UK too over this. Oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah, with Prince Andrew involved. There's all kinds of people, man. There's all kinds of people involved in this. This is not a good thing, and the fact that this was a conspiracy investigation now, not just Epstein, but it's a conspiracy. Buckle up, people. Buckle the hell up. Anyway, I gotta go, people. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't done so already, I would so appreciate that you share this video if you didn't get here earlier and you watch it later. Make sure you hit the share button. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. If you want to do donations or do super chats in the future, the Streamlabs link is in the description down below. I gotta say thank you very much for coming today. It's so nice having you around. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.